Hello and welcome to Wheels Boy Lockdown Chat, the show where we spend our time locked down here in Shanghai, China, talking about topics related to the Chinese car market. Our topic for today's video is one that we are very excited about, and I think that our fans will be very excited about as well. We're going to be having a little debate, myself and my two guests, as to what we believe the best Chinese mini electric vehicle is right now, currently available on the market. Speaking of my two guests, they are one, Mr. Mark Andrews, veteran automotive journalist here in China. Welcome, Mark.
Good to be back.
And of course, Mr. Elliot Richards, who will recognize from the Fully Charged show, as well as his own YouTube channel, China Driver. Welcome, Elliot.
Hello again.
Hello. So let's start by introducing the vehicles that we have chosen as our representatives. I will go first. I have chosen, of course, the one, the only, the big daddy, the OG, the Mini EV, the Wuling Mini EV. Mark, what is your choice?
Hardly call yours a big daddy. It's pretty damn small. It's the Chery QQ ice cream.
Ah, yes, aka the other Mini EV. So yeah,
Or one of them.
it is. Yeah, well, yeah,
They're
that's
growing.
True. There is. There's something about this segment. This is a hugely growing segment, and one, by the way, obviously we are not going to be able to cover every single car because there's a new one, it seems like, every week in this segment, and they're all pretty interesting, but we've chosen ones that we think could be the best choices, and I'll get to the categories that we're going to be judging them on in a moment, but first let me get to Elliot. What choice have you brought? What vehicle?
I've gone for the only real car in the list, I think, today, which is the Letin Mengo, or also known as the Mengo on the badge, but it's meant to be known as the Mango.
That's right. I think Mark pointed out to us before that this is actually not in Chinese. The Chinese name is Mangguo, which is mango. It's a transliteration of the term word mango, but in English, it's actually M-E-N-G-O, the Mengo, which is very much a less flattering name. But for the sake of this competition, I'm going to continually refer to your vehicle as the Mengo, with very good pronunciation. So speaking of this competition, we have chosen a few categories upon which we're going to be judging these vehicles, starting with exterior styling, then moving on to interior styling, followed by performance, including like power, talking about things like horsepower, kilowatts, and torque, as well as range, and then finally value. Now, these first two categories, we'll go straight to our exterior styling. The exterior and interior styling categories are going to be voted on. So these that means that these are subjective, and the one rule is you can't vote for your own vehicle. Now, I am representing the Mini EV, and I'm going to start, of course, with that vehicle. So as I said before, the Mini EV, kind of the OG, this is the one that really proved that this category was highly valuable to Chinese automakers and could be something that had commercial appeal. We drove the car. We've all three have driven the Mini EV. And we'll save our driving impressions for later when it comes to the performance category. But I do think that it was very groundbreaking. The one picture on screen right now is a macaron, which is the most recent, or macaroon? Is it macaroon? I keep almost pronouncing it like the French president.
Yeah, I think it should be macaroon like the biscuit.
Macaroon.
Not the president.
Not the president. The Wuling Mini EV macaron.
Presidential transport there.
It could be. It could be. I would listen. I would be pretty cool if the Chinese government officials started drowing around in Mini EVs. That would be kind of.
Oh, I'd like that.
I'd be pretty cool. I'd like it more than
with a Hongqi badge on the front.
But I digress. The point is that I think the Mini EV is absolutely adorable. I love the way it looks like a little bit. I've always, in my review of it from over a year ago, I described it as being like a pug, like the dog. I just love how it's just kind of like a scrunched up little face. It's super, super cute. Now, Mark, tell us a little bit about your choice. What is that? No, wait, that Mini EV has a Chang'an badge on it. What happened?
Wait, does it have a Chang'an badge on it?
I'm saying that yours looks like the Mini EV.
Oh, mine? It's a Chery, not even a Chang'an.
Oh, sorry, never mind.
I wonder where they got the inspiration from. It's just, it's very hard to pin that down.
It's hard.
Okay, to be honest, I also thought I also thought that the Cherry QQ ice cream was a bit of a copy when I first saw it. But when I actually looked over it and when I look at it more closely, it is not such an outright copy as, for example, the Gemmell Lingbox Uni.
I'm sorry?
That I only just discovered
What is
that one today, precisely. I've never heard of it. I saw some pictures on Twitter, actually, of it. That's a pretty big dead ringer, as is the BAW S3. So the Cherry QQ ice cream obviously is very much in the same vein as the Mini EV. However, it has a slightly more distinctive look. It looks like basically someone has gone down the side of it with an ice cream scoop and scooped out a chunk. So it's got more pronounced wheel arches, and on some versions it's got a more pronounced grille. Plus, those lights at the front, they've got sort of a droopy puppy dog eye look to them. Very fetching, I know.
I literally just described my car as looking like a puppy dog, so go on.
And one thing, also the names. The 3 trim levels, pudding, cone, and sundae. There you go.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Imagine.
Oh, and one other thing. Some of the cars have got some of the show cars have got spoilers at the back, very 80s style spoilers.
Imagine going into a showroom or speaking to your friends and saying, "Oh, what do you drive? Oh, I drive a cone. A what? An ice cream cone. A what?" And those lights they just like it's droopy eyes of disappointment because it's not a Wuling Mini EV. So sorry.
You're joking along, why don't you?
Oh man, I love it. All right, Mark. I'm sorry, not Mark. Mark, that was your choice. Was the QQ ice cream? Elliot, tell us a little bit about your choice.
Yeah, so I've gone with the Letin Mango, which I said before was I think the first real kind of car. You know, we've got 5 proper doors. That's kind of really it going for the car. In terms of styling, it doesn't really have much in the way of styling. It's kind of generic box on wheels. And I do think the Wuling really excels here. But the Wuling, is it that practical? Don't know. We'll come on to that later. But I think, I'm not going to win this round, am I?
Wow.
I respect a man who accepts.
What a salesman.
Yes, really, you should be working for Letin or Yima or whatever, whoever's.
Or Wuling, more like.
For maybe you should. Do you work for Wuling? People are going to say that I do after this. Actually, they'll watch my original review of the car and they won't think that. Now, another thing, I think the thing that puts the nail in the coffin for these 2 other cars when it comes to their competition with the Wuling Mini EV is the fact that the Wuling has so many awesome versions, including the Game Boy, which is a recent release, which is the one the viewers are seeing on screen now, which has kind of a fun, youthful aesthetic, video games. That's what the kids are into.
Stop you right there. The Mini EV has not the Mini EV, the QQ ice cream has a game station version.
That's not, come on.
With a screen as well.
What's game station?
On. I have no idea.
It's like a copy of a Game Boy and a PlayStation. What is it?
And there is a space version. And which one is it? The space version has a really chunky body kit on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Although I don't know if either of those are actually available on the market, but they're show cars.
Well, because if we're going to do show cars, there's a 6-wheeler Mini EV. So that's it. Just put my cards on the table there. And then, of course, one other thing the Mini EV has, the other ones do not, is a convertible version. So pictured here at the Shanghai Auto Show, we all saw it. We all loved it. I personally am excited to drive it slowly because obviously this is not a safe vehicle to begin with. Taking out a major part of its structural rigidity is not going to result in probably a very great dynamic experience in terms of driving.
If you really want to kill yourself,
Yes, it might be suicidal to drive it, but God, you're going to look good. You're going to look good when you die. Not after you crashed, you won't look good, but prior to.
Well, I suppose ejection seats.
It could use them because I I think that what's going to happen is it's basically going to be like one of those like 1980s muscle cars, or actually anything prior to the 2000s muscle cars, where you would go over like a railroad track or something, and you could, if you looked at the other side of the dashboard, it would like flex and go up like 10 centimeters or whatever. Probably it's going to be like that, but I don't care. I just truly don't care. I cannot wait to get behind the wheel of that. But that's going to do it. That's our first category, exterior styling. And we do need to vote. So remember, you cannot vote for your own vehicle. I am going to personally, as a flattering, listen, imitation is the highest form of flattery, as they say. And so I must give my vote to the QQ ice cream only because it looks like the Mini EV, which is the best looking of all three. Mark, what is your choice?
I am going to go for the Letin Mengo because it's the most like a real car.
You are a
Good choice.
backstabber. First you steal the styling of the Wuling, and then you just stab it right in the back by going for its opponent. All right, Elliot, what is your choice?
I mean, I've only got two, and they look the same. So for me, it's going to be the Wuling Mini EV. The details are just a little bit better than the ice cream. So that's 1 point for the Wuling.
I think Elliot was won over by the convertible, if you ask me. But either way, I agree with Elliot, and yet I cannot vote for my own vehicle. So I guess that exterior styling, guys, it's a wash. I'm starting to think that maybe my point system may have some flaws in it, but hey, it's all for fun. Speaking of which, let's move on to our next category, which is interior styling. Now, this is the one where I'm not going to lie, I don't think the Wuling Mini EV is going to excel, but I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to try and sell you guys on this thing. We've all been inside of a Wuling Mini EV. I personally, in my review, I can't lie, I compared the interior plastic qualities to somewhere between a economy car and a public bathroom. And I do stand by that. It's the hardest, most plasticky interior I've ever been inside of. But I think that it is very practical. It is very ergonomic in terms of where the buttons are placed. Both the QQ ice cream and the Mini EV, as you guys will see in the slideshow, the pedals are basically in the middle of the car because it's so narrow that the wheel hub kind of like pushes into the passenger compartment much like the Volkswagen, the T2, the Combi that we reviewed on the channel. But again, putting all that aside, I think that especially in the Game Boy version that is seen on screen right here by our viewers, I think it looks great. I love the splashes of color. I like it. Mini EV all the way. What about you, Mark? Tell us about the QQ ice cream.
Okay, I think first of all, why the QQ ice cream is better is that the screen is the screen in front of the driver is far more integrated to the dashboard, whereas with the Mini EV, it just sort of sticks out. And so it's got much better integration. Also, there are little mounts there at the top for another screen. So I don't know if that's sold as standard with any, but certainly on certain show cars, they've actually had a screen mounted in the middle. And so that seems to be an optional extra or something. It's just better designed in general. It looks like more thought's been put into it. I think part of the reason is that Chery actually has a far greater history with making cars than Wuling has. Chery have been making cars since around about the early 2000s.
Well, so has Wuling, but I think
Wuling hasn't actually been making cars. They've been making Mianbaochers,
right,
which are sort of commercial vehicles. Vans. In fact, the Wuling Mini EV is their first car. They've obviously had the Belgian range, and it's quite strange how they actually introduced the Mini EV as a Wuling rather than as a Belgian.
True.
I don't really understand why they did that, because up until that point, all their vehicles were commercial vehicles.
Well, they committed so much they could not have used that design as a Belgian, because Belgian committed so hard to that like robot mini car look, which is awesome. And I encourage you to check out both myself. Elliot, you've driven. Did you drive? Have you have a video of the E300 or anything?
Yeah, we've done one on the E300. Yeah.
Okay, great. So check out. Be sure to check out both Elliot and my videos on that, because I think they're super interesting cars. But Mark, but I do think you're right. Yeah, I do think you're right. It's interesting that they chose to introduce it as a
and
as a Wuling.
also it has Bluetooth phone connection, and it has something called iCar Ecology IoT, Internet of Things. So I'm not exactly sure what that does, but it might be able to. You might be able to ping your microwave and get your dinner on the way home or something. I don't know.
Right.
This is assuming, by the way, combination
that you left your
with
food in the microwave all day long, waiting for the moment.
Yeah, precisely.
If you're some sort of absolute efficiency,
great hygiene there. So
melted ravioli. You got your room temperature ravioli just sitting in the microwave.
I don't really know what it does, but it has something which is in combination with higher. That's why I say the microwave. So, I mean, it's obviously got something to do with household appliances, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, dear. So. I think your point about the quality is really very apparent, even in the photos. Everything's very shiny plastics in the Wuling Mini EV. And like you said, they've only got experience with commercial vehicles, whereas Chery, joint venture partner with Jaguar Land Rover.
Yeah. And so formerly Coros.
Yes. And so they probably...
the least said about that, the better.
Probably.
So hopefully they've learned a bit and they've applied it to this car, which is what it looks like. So, yeah.
I can't deny it, you guys. I'm looking at the photos, and I do think that the QQ ice cream looks higher quality than the Mini EV. But that's not our only competitors, of course. The third competitor... And in my opinion, the other guys are looking at the photos. I sent them ahead of time. I've chosen what I think is the best looking interior for the Letin Mengo.
Ethan, why have you done this to me? You've chosen, I've driven one with a perfectly fine black interior, but this one is the most obnoxious interior that you could have found. It is all blue. It's like a Smurf has climbed in there and exploded. And
these guys
sunglasses.
These guys can't actually see me when we're recording, so they can't see that I'm actually crying, laughing. I would say, my girlfriend, I was showing her some of these photos in anticipation of this video, and she described the interior of the Mengo, this particular interior as a crime. She's a designer.
It is a crime.
She's a designer who called it a crime, so I think that's official. But I will not back down from the fact that I think it's awesome that such an interior exists, but. Elliot, please tell us a little bit more about what you know about the Letin Mengo's interior.
Okay, if you can look past the blue, this is actually quite a impressive interior for the price. You know, it's not the best materials, it's never going to be. But it's got, proper seats, pedals are in the right position. It's got 2 screens. You guys have only got 1 screen. You're very limited.
No, but putting a bike rack on a car doesn't count as having half a bike. So no, I don't think you have 1.5 screens.
You can only fit half a bike in one of these mini cars anyway.
That's
true. And you've got a lot more features. So you've got electrical windows, the wing mirrors are all electrical, and it's just a more
both
composed.
The Mini EV and the QQ ice cream have electric windows. Thank you very much.
Okay. It's just the most kind of composed, well thought out interior. It's not going to win any design prizes. It's not as funky as the Mini EV. The one thing I would say though, if you look at this photo and you look at that massive kind of cup underneath the middle screen, then you look underneath that where the cigarette lighter is, and you look at where the twisty button for the drive modes are. Nothing's aligned. None of that is aligned. None of that's centered. So I don't know what's happened there. Some sort of design mistake or production mistake, but
that's maddening.
Once you see that,
that's looking.
I feel the passenger seat might even be a little bit narrower than the driver's seat. What do you reckon?
It does look that way, doesn't it?
I think this is looking into the face of evil. I think the designer was intending on driving people insane, because now I cannot stop seeing that. Though I do appreciate the shape of the screen being mirrored in the shape of the cubby. Classic little move there. But
one thing I'll say though, that what Elliot mentioned about the pedals, that's a very good point. Because quite honestly, the Wuling Mini EV, it's really pretty uncomfortable with those pedals being offset the way they are.
Yeah, it's. I haven't driven the QQ ice cream, Mark. I know that.
I haven't either.
The QQ ice cream is the one that none of us have driven yet. But at least some of us have driven. We've all driven the Mini EV. Some of us have driven the Mengo.
Just Elliot.
Just Elliot's driven the Mengo, so we'll go.
Yeah.
Which is why he's representing it. But I will say, I just want to second strongly what Mark was saying, which is that the ergonomics of the Mini EV, and I have to assume the QQ ice cream.
The QQ ice cream must be the same.
Must be the same.
The pedals are also
It's
that.
it's like an 80s Lamborghini or something, or 70s Lamborghini. You're just like feet are shunted off to the right side. It's truly uncomfortable. And as someone who already has low back problems, I imagine that adding to that the very, very rudimentary suspension of those vehicles, I imagine that I would be in quite a bit of misery after maybe, an hour, not even 45 minutes behind the wheel of that thing.
Actually, won't last that long, will it?
Probably not.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Certainly the shorter range versions.
That's true. We'd be out of juice. So that brings us back around, though. We need to have a vote. So you can't vote, again, for these categories of exterior and interior styling. You can't vote for your own car. I am going to vote personally for let me see. It's kind of so I love that let me go back. I love that this color exists and it is available in the Mengo. Yeah, I got to go with the Mengo. I got to go with the Mengo. I do want to give credit to the QQ ice cream, because I feel like, as Mark said, it's just a better thought out version of the Mini EV. It has the same charm, but it just looks better integrated and actually styled, as opposed to just kind of put together like Legos. And so I got to give credit, but I have said in every video I've ever done, I think I'm a huge fan of colorful interiors, even if they're absolute travesties of design like this one. The fact that you can go out and buy a fun little electric car and show up and look like you threw up ice cream on the inside of it is A-okay with me. So the Mengo gets my vote, but Mark, what do you think?
Should really be mango ice cream rather than mint or something, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess it should have been orange.
Yeah. I'm afraid I'm also going to have to go for the Mengo as well, because I can't vote for my own, can I say?
Yeah.
Good choices.
All right. Elliot, just for the Mengo's going to win this round, but why don't you tell me what would your vote be?
Mine's going to be the ice cream, not the Wuling. I just think the quality of the materials, the thought behind what they've done is just a little bit better than the Wuling. So, ice cream.
All right. Well, I kind of saw that one coming, but maybe I can get back some points in the next category, which is performance. Now, performance is a relative term when we talk about these vehicles. These are not intended to be performance vehicles by any means. They are intended to be cheap transportation, just to kind of get you from A to B. But we are going to do this. This is very objective. It's all about power and torque. So I'm going to start by telling you guys some of the more important numbers related to the Wuling Mini EV. So there are currently 2 different powertrain options available for the Mini EV. When I tested it, there was only the 20 kilowatt hour version. I swear the first version was actually had less power than that.
I thought it did as well.
15 kilowatts. I'd have to go back and watch
12,
the video.
Maybe. Yeah.
But the current one now has it's 20 to 30 kilowatts and 85 to 110 newton meters of torque. So again, top spec, 30 kilowatts, 110 newton meters of torque. That's the equivalent of 40 horsepower and 82 pound-feet. Ooh, spicy. Now, there is no official 0 to 100 kilometer per hour time for this vehicle, and I don't think there's one for the QQ ice cream either, because the actual listed top speed is 100 kilometers per hour, or 62 miles per hour. But I was able to find one, bless their hearts, one media who took the time, and it was a lot of time, to test the 0 to 100 time of the Mini EV multiple times. And their best time, under what seemed like pretty good conditions, was 31.34 seconds.
31 seconds?
No way.
That's
it can't be that bad.
I mean, what old car? That's like a car from the 30s or something, isn't it?
Yes.
Milk float.
Milk float is probably faster than that.
Is that an English thing? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, they were electric.
Okay.
Although I think they were lead acid batteries,
it's like
if I'm not mistaken.
milk delivery truck?
That's right.
Okay, gotcha. Well, yes, no, I think that the Grumman, which is the company that makes the classic postal truck for America, the big, ugly, square-looking one, That one probably is faster. I bet I could look it up. Might be actually be faster than this. But yes, 31.34 seconds. Mark, tell us a bit about the QQ ice cream.
Yeah, okay. Right. Got a great shot there, haven't you?
It's a pretty cool photo, right?
That is a cool photo, yeah.
Managed to make the QQ
that's about all I can say about it. So,
probably cooler than it deserves, yeah.
Yeah. It's 20 kilowatts, so that's 27 horsepower, and it's 85 Newton meters of torque.
Right. So what's the more powerful spec?
That's it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, that's embarrassing.
As far as I know, there is only one motor so far that they've shoved in it, and that's it.
Well, we eagerly await the QQ Ice Cream GTR, which will get
performance version, yeah.
40 kilowatt motor.
Yeah.
I will say now.
That does 0 to 100 in 20 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Slow down. That's dangerous. That shouldn't be in the hands of the public. But I was going to say that this does make me think, these two cars especially, just how excited I am for some Chinese shop to shove a Hayabusa motorcycle engine into one of these somehow. I mean, you'd have to absolutely destroy the interior of it, but I don't care. I mean, go to town. It would be a cheap project car, and if you could get like a 200 horsepower Hayabusa engine into it, oh, that would stuff with the gods.
That'd be cool.
Please let me drive that. Let me die happy. Better yet, full send. Wuling Mini EV convertible Hayabusa.
Well, that's just a death recipe, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's just full death sentence. But also, can you just top down screaming at 13,000 RPM, guys? But we have one last contender in this category, and that is the Letin Mengo.
And Ethan, I have to compliment you on your photo picking skills, because you've picked a picture of the Mango, which is moving along the road, but its wheels are not moving, and there's got no driver in it.
Photoshopped.
Just a terrible picture.
No, this is the self-driving version. Didn't you know about that one?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I fully thought this car was... They totally photoshopped to put... I didn't realize that. Thank you for pointing that out. To put the blur in the background. Well, because I'm going to be honest with you, the Mengo, both in all categories, it was nearly impossible to find good photos of it, because it feels like no one cares about it.
Well, you notice in your exterior shots, it's actually got Yema written on it rather than Letin.
Let me go back to that so we can explain that a bit. So actually, I'm afraid the shot that those guys have, you can see it here on this. I don't have the rear shot in the slideshow now, but if you guys look closely at the front end of the vehicle, you can see that there's the YEMA Yema. Now tell us, Mark, give us some context as to why that's on there.
Okay. Letin is a brand name of a company called Levido, I think it is. Levedo. I think that's how it's spelled anyway. Something like that. So they're a company from Shandong province who were previously making low-speed electric vehicles. So there's a lot of companies in Shandong province for some reason making low-speed electric vehicles.
Viewers will remember that we went to Shandong to drive the Chengshi 01, the Zhuzhen Chengshi 01, which was that super adorable mini electric delivery van.
Oh, that was your second job, wasn't it? Yeah, the delivery guy.
When I was moonlighting as a delivery guy.
Yeah, suited you.
Go well.
So they basically couldn't actually produce a car, so they bought Yema. So Yema are a company based in Sichuan province, or were a company based in Sichuan province, who started, well, I'm not exactly sure how they got into making cars, but at one point they were making a car based on the old Austin Maestro platform. In fact, they had this car that looked like a Subaru Forester, but was based on an Austin Maestro platform, which was a really bizarre.
That's amazing.
Car. That's awesome. I love China. I love China for that. There's just so many absolutely insane car stories of like someone getting a hold of like just the exterior tub of some British car or something for $50.
Yeah, Austin Maestro was a 1980s car.
Yeah, and this was in when?
The 2000s.
Recently, yeah.
Oh
So in fact, it went first to a company called Etsong in Qingdao, who were then Etsong. They were a tobacco company who suddenly decided
Edsel.
no, Etsong, Etsong. So they thought, yeah, we have cigarettes. What's a logical side to this for us? Car making, of course, they make fumes as well. So logical step, isn't it? So let's build a car. So, oh yeah, we can buy this old Austin Maestro via Bulgaria. So in comes the Austin Maestro and Montego, which they never actually made. They never actually made Montego in China. And then it sort of got absorbed into FAW. And then, of course, FAW didn't want it. So they sold it to Yema.
My lord.
And now Levido have bought Yema.
And I've got one more tidbit about Yema. So Yema actually means like wild horse, right?
Is that the characters they use?
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep.
The Chinese name for Ford Mustang is...
Correct. So Ford can't use this name, this Yema, because these guys have it.
Oh.
So they've had to call it... I'm not sure what it's called in China, the Mustang, but...
It's called the Yema. Well, sorry. I don't know if maybe Ford in their official language that's around the vehicle maybe says Mustang in English every time or something like that.
I think it might do.
Certainly in regular parlance, it is called a Yema. That is super interesting and not at all.
That's an interesting tidbit. Yeah.
I love when a foreign OEM gets copyrighted by a Chinese company. Be sure to, by the way, guys, check out my Instagram where I posted photos recently from a patent filing that was done by a tech company in Beijing for what is just literally a original Mini Cooper with an electric powertrain. Like the exterior design, as far as I can tell,
awesome.
And I said in my post, I genuinely hope that this avoids lawsuits long enough to actually be made, because can you imagine how awesome it would be to get to be able to, for cheap, get an OG looking Mini Cooper, just Mini with an electric powertrain, even like a Mini EV powertrain. Oh, that would be so fun.
So good.
Yes. So anyways, Elliot, a lot of digressions. Let us get back so we can finish this category of performance regarding the Letin Mengo.
Right. Okay. You ready to be blown away? So we have two versions: the 25 kilowatt hour version, which has kilowatt version, which has 34 horsepower, and then the 35 kilowatt version, which has 47 horsepower. It's rear-wheel drive. I think they're all rear-wheel drive, and it has range from.
No, hold on. That's the next category.
Oh, that's the next category. Sorry,
that's one of our final categories, but. I will say that it would appear, if we're going to be objective, we have to give the win to the Letin Mengo for the fact that it has 5 kilowatts more than the Mini EV. I would suggest, perhaps, that I don't know how much more it weighs. I wish I had that number in front of me, and maybe I can look that up during our next category to throw that at you. See if I might be able to balance out the power, the power to weight ratio. However, that's not the point of this category. We're going raw numbers. So the win goes to the Mengo, I guess. All right. That's what happens when you bring a real car to a mini car fight.
Yep.
Okay, so our next category is, as Elliot indicated before, range. So I will start by talking a bit about the Mini EV. So the Mini EV comes with now a wide variety of battery packs. When I tested it, it had, I believe, only the 9.3. I don't even know if the 13.9 kilowatt hour battery pack had come out yet, but the 9.3 delivers 120 kilometers NEDC range. The 13.9 delivers 170. There's also a 17.5 and a 26.5 kilowatt hour battery pack. The 26.5, the range topping one, delivers 280 kilometers or 174 miles, but that's on the CLTC range, which, as we know, is even more generous than NEDC. Who knows what that would be on EPA, or what is it? Is it WLTP or WTLP?
WLTP.
WLTP. Yeah. Probably significantly less than that for all these cases. I will also mention that, unfortunately, the Mini EV does not have fast charging, and so it takes anywhere from 5.5 to 9 hours to charge. The fastest charging battery, interestingly, not the smallest one, the 9.3. It's actually the 17.4 kilowatt hour one with the lithium iron phosphate pack, which only takes 5.5 hours. But that's what I got, 280 kilometer CLTC. Mark, tell us about the QQ ice cream.
There are two varieties of ice cream.
Chocolate.
Yeah,
turning into Mark.
both,
Oh my God, guys,
both pretty vanilla. Both pretty vanilla. Okay, so so you've got 9.6 kilowatt hours and 13.9 kilowatt hour battery packs, and they're good for either 120 or 170 kilometers. Quite whether that's NEDC or CLTC, I'm not exactly sure. I'm guessing it's probably CLTC, but yeah, it's hardly world breaking in a way.
That's true. I'm actually going to be able to check because I've got that is
and
NEDC. That's NEDC.
6 to 8 hours charge. 6 to 8 hours charging.
Okay. So, Mini EV is going to take that category so far. All right, Elliot, what do you got?
Sorry, guys, you've got no chance. I mean, just look at. I've got 2 charging ports, a fast one and a slow one.
Hey! Only on the top of the range with a Mango do you have that fast charge.
Well, yeah, maybe, but anyway, I've got a couple of flavors. So I've got 11.5 kilowatt hour battery, which gives 130 kilometers of range, and a whopping 30 kilowatt hour battery, giving 300 kilometers of range. Like I said before, it's a real car, not a toy like your 2 toy cars.
Overkill. It's called overkill. Excess. It's unnecessary.
Overkill.
These listen, guys. I've been saying for years this horsepower war that we're having with these mini electric cars. First it's 15, then it's 20, now it's 35. When is it going to stop? Are we going to have a 50 kilowatt electric car? That's just too much. That's in my opinion. I think something needs to be done. There needs to be legislation. But unfortunately, I think the win actually goes to Elliot again.
Yeah.
All right. So
thank you.
As we come into our final category of value and we have our conclusions in the vehicle, I want to quickly round up the points. It seems pretty clear.
Is it necessary?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a point. Exterior styling, that was a wash. Oh, no, sorry. Exterior styling, I went to the Mengo, didn't it?
Yep.
Because Mark truly has betrayed me. He's in my little black book now. And interior styling also went to the Mengo. Performance, Mengo. Range, gotta go to the Mengo. Value, we shall see. Value, I personally think that the Mini EV does have a solid chance of winning this category. I'm putting this, basically, let's talk a bit about price here for context. So the Mini EV price anywhere from basically about 4,500, I have it here, 33,000 to 70,000 RMB, that's Chinese currency, but that equivocates. That is the equivalent of USD 4,900 to $10,400. So
those are the prices after the price increases, aren't they?
I believe so. Those are the latest prices that I've been able to find online.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I personally think that when it comes to the Mini EV, the higher up in the range you go, the less the value is there. So I think a 10,400 RMB Mini EV with 30 kilowatts of power and 280 kilometers of range, it's not by any means they're robbing you or anything, but I do think that the more of the value is in maybe like a 17.5 kilowatt hour battery pack, which would be priced, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around $7,000 or so. And I think that's plenty. Over like 200 kilometers of range, CLTC, I do think that would be enough. But again, you get a lot for your money. Mark, tell us about your value proposition for the QQ ice cream.
Right. Latest prices for it are 39,900 to 49,900
RMB.
And that's an increase on the launch prices. So at launch they were 29,900 to 43,900.
Now, what is that? If we check and compare that to the Mini EV, that's slightly. Well, so I'm sorry. What was your base? Your cheapest version is how much?
The cheapest one now is 39,900, so slightly more expensive.
Almost $1,000 than a base Mini EV.
Well, yeah, around about 5,000 RMB more expensive. Yeah.
Right. So
You're getting on for $1,000. Yeah.
So you're looking at like $6,000 or so, a little over $6,000 for the entry level version of the QQ ice cream versus the $4,900 for the Mini EV. And then yours tops out at, what is it topping out at now?
49,900.
49,000, which actually is much less than the top of the line Mini EV, but also top of the line Mini EV.
Yeah, but remember it's a smaller battery.
Right, exactly. More power, more battery, more range.
Mm.
Elliot, you brought an actual car. What can it do?
I'm afraid, guys, my price starts with a 2. It's
yeah, that's the original prices.
Has the price?
I mean,
is this the latest? Yeah. Don't be coming with old prices.
Yeah.
29,800 was the original old price for the lowest one. So I'm not sure how much it is now. I couldn't find anything. And the top,
we've all gone up probably close to 10%. So let's assume even if it went up 10%, it's still pretty cheap.
Still very cheap for what is the best car.
For what is an actual car?
Yeah, I did hear. Just digressing very quickly, I did hear that someone said the Wuling Mini EV makes, I don't know, like 100 RMB profit on each car they sell.
I have some. Elliot,
$15 or something.
Thanks for reminding me. I have some really interesting data about that because it's something that was brought up. So some people have questioned, very famously back in the day, Mark and you and I have talked about this. The Chery QQ, the progenitor of the QQ name, in the early mid 2000s, if I'm not mistaken, right? I
think it came out it was either 2003 or 2005 when it first came out. I can't remember which one it was.
Early to mid 2000s.
Yeah.
So that car famously made what, about 50 RMB or about?
Yeah, I think it's 49 RMB, something like that.
$7.
Allegedly. Who knows?
I don't know what the conversion rate was at the time, but today that would be worth about $7.
Not much different. Yeah.
And so, according to the data that I have from online, Wuling makes 89 RMB per car.
That's it.
That was before the price increases, though. That 89 RMB.
Yeah, so a slight caveat there. But here's the thing about these cars. Because of the way the Chinese system works, so basically, in order to ensure the efficiency of motor vehicles and reduce carbon emissions, China has a credit system where manufacturers can trade back and forth. They have to meet a specific annual credit target. And they lose a certain number of credits, if you produce a lot of gas guzzling cars and stuff. So at the end of the year, you end up with some cars or some companies that can't meet the target. This will sound very familiar to anybody who's ever heard of Tesla, because that's how Tesla has for years made a good amount of money, is by selling these emissions credits to other manufacturers. And so while this car may only make 89 RMB per vehicle, and this is true for the QQ ice cream, so this is true for the Mini EV, it's probably very likely similar for the QQ ice cream. If anything, I bet you they make less money if I had to guess. But
Chery are famous for not making money.
That's true. But one of these credits, 89 RMB profit. However, one of these credits is currently worth about 3,000 RMB or $464. So the Mini EV is worth, by the way, 2 credits. So even though they aren't able to actually make very much money on each car, at the end of the year, they're then able to either offset the cost of credits for their own company or sell those credits to other companies for what would be a very good profit. Again, that's $464 is at this point, 10% almost of the total sales price, a little less than 10% of the sales price of a Mini EV, of a base Mini EV. So that
and remember, they're selling around about 300,000 plus of them a year.
Yeah, that too. So they're more than going to make enough money off of these things. That's just some context as to why this category has become so popular. But Elliot, I mean, as the Chinese would say, gongxi gongxi, congratulations for
thanks.
Winning this hands down. Again, you're bringing a gun to a knife fight, bringing this actual vehicle to this.
Well, an extra pair of doors anyway.
Now, Elliot, before we started talking, you said that they had released and I encourage everybody to go check this out. Maybe I'll post a picture of it in the description for this video. We don't have the photos right now. They are releasing a 2-door version of the Mengo.
Yes, that's right. I saw a picture of it in the factory, I think today it was on Twitter or something. So I don't know if that'd be more expensive. Usually they turn out to be more expensive, but really? It's good. It looks,
It's supposed to be more expensive? How? They're losing doors. What are they, Porsche? Is it a Weissach package?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how these things work. Maybe it's more body stiffening. I don't know. They got a cheap lot of doors before. Who knows? But yeah, it looks quite smart, and I think it actually means it's more of competition for both of your cars. So watch out.
Wuling's got a new one coming out as well, which is smaller than the Mini EV, I think.
Already out.
Or very similar.
Nano EV.
No, there's another one. The Wuling Nano is actually just a rebadged version of the Belgian E200.
Yeah,
I think it is. There's a new one called the Wuling Air.
Oh?
And that's got fast charging.
No.
But it's at a higher price point. And it looks safer.
We'll have to by the way, I'm sorry, did we get to the pricing on the Mengo? I just want to be, just before we wrap up here.
The bottom price, not that I don't have the top price. It doesn't matter. 29,800 RMB.
Just keep scrolling over. Oh, it gets more and more. Oh, wow. Okay. So the top price for the Mengo is 74,000 RMB, which actually is 4,000 RMB more expensive than the top of the line Mini. Yeah, still not nice to me.
And what's the current starting price?
Let me see if they have the current starting price really quickly. This is good. This is good content. People love watching people. No, it's 30,000 RMB. It's too.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Sorry,
so it's actually the
29,800. Ow!
Still.
Dang it.
Okay, they haven't put up the base one then.
All right. Well,
wow.
I want to drive. I want to drive the Mengo, and I'd like to drive the ice cream. I have low expectations for both, but I hope I can get an absolute dirt poor spec version of the Mengo.
The problem is when you get into the Mengo, the higher spec, you're into pretty much the Leap T03 category, aren't you?
I'd much rather
pricing.
T03.
Me too.
Precisely.
Yeah. All right. Well, we could go on forever. Usually my predicted time for these videos is 15 minutes. This one is at about 46 minutes and counting. So we will release you guys, both my guests and the fans, to continue your lives. Thank you very much for watching Wheelsboy Lockdown Chat. I will tell you that things are loosening up a bit here in Shanghai. There is hope. There are scheduled releases. We are allegedly going to be able to get back to work as early as the 1st of June, so I'm hopeful we'll be able to have both myself and hopefully Elliot and Mark will be able to get some content out to you guys in...
The year has not been mentioned.
Yes. There's always that caveat, the asterisk 2023. In around maybe mid-June, if we're being conservative. So look forward to that. And of course, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to comment below with ideas for videos. What do you guys think? Do you think that the Letin Mengo's win is earned? Do you think it should have been the Mini EV? No mention of the QQ.
The QQ ice cream?
No, Mark.
No point in saying that. But Mini EV fans, unite in the comments below and justify my choice. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to my guests. Be sure to check them out on their social media, which is below their little icons there for Twitter and, of course, for their for YouTube, for Elliot. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.